Hey, what's up? This is Cody the Coin Raptor, and welcome to my channel. All right, I'm trying to give you the best crypto content that I can, including chart TA, news, and on-chain analytics. So let's go ahead and start with chart TA for today with Bitcoin. All right, Bitcoin has been very interesting on the charts lately. We've seen this big uptrend that we've talked about starting yesterday. I did actually go in and buy the dip a little bit here at this point right there at that about 20,950 ish, somewhere around that range. Again, I'm doing this kind of more for long term and not something that I plan on getting rid of pretty quickly. But I did buy that. I noticed that I like the long term price action and the long term risk reward. So Bitcoin has continued this uptrend, right, until it's hit the major resistance point that we outlined yesterday, this major resistance point, and it was unable to push through this major resistance point. And one thing I said yesterday was that if it came up and it retested this resistance point and didn't push through, you're getting a potential double top going on here. So this is the first top, and this is the second top, and you can already see that there's been some very strong rejection of this point, and we're starting to sell off a little bit. So what that tells me is that the sellers are here and above, and they're really heavily defending this area here. You look at the volume at the bottom here, you can notice that there is a huge volume spike during that big red candle, a larger red selling volume spike than the last couple of days, in fact. So what we're looking for right now is this a true double top, or is this a potential fake out? So what we want to see is series of higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, and then we want to make sure that it holds the support here at about 21,000 or so, because if it can't hold this support level, it's going to break down. It's going to break down. It's going to put several more potential red candles down here. You can see it's going to look probably something like this. It'll break down a little bit here, and then it might actually have another quick break to the upside. But the trend line will be negative. The trend line will be a downtrend. So what I'm looking for right now is this a double top? It's looking like a double top right now. And I will be watching this throughout the day, and I will be giving you updates, basically calling it as I see it. So if you guys are interested in getting that information, follow me on Twitter. Let me know. Right now, I would not be going in long on Bitcoin for the short term anyways. I'd be doing it for the long term for sure. But in the short term, I would like to see it push above this support level. Okay? Now let's talk about Ethereum. Ethereum, most of the same story here. We take a look at, again, we had this uptrend starting from the 18th, going all the way up here. Again, higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. That's all good information. That's very bullish. And the problem is, just like with Bitcoin, it has this huge support here at 1,257, and it did not push through it. It faked out again, putting this huge green candle here, going right through, and then the sellers come in and they just push the price down massively. So we could have another double top here on the ETH chart as well. What's strange about the ETH chart though is that it's not as clear of a double top because there's a lot more resistance over here on the it was at the 13th, the 14th of June. So there's a lot more baked in resistance right here. Again, for ETH, I personally would not step in at this point, but again, this is not financial advice. I would definitely prefer that you do your own due diligence and your own TA. This is for educational purposes only. But the way it's looking right now is not bullish in the short term. And what we have to remember is that tomorrow, when the market opens, Bitcoin and ETH are going to follow the NASDAQ. So if the NASDAQ opens and it is incredibly weak, it's going to drag the prices all the way down. You could potentially see supports failing here and supports failing there and there, supports failing across the board. If the NASDAQ moves down 2 or 3%, which is certainly a possibility, then it can drag Bitcoin and crypto prices down with it. and it doesn't matter what the current trend is, it will follow the NASDAQ. But if it's up on Monday, then I think you have the power to push through, as long as it holds or goes sideways here. I think you have the power to push through these resistance levels on both Bitcoin and Ethereum. So a lot is going to depend upon whether or not they can hold current support levels and what the NASDAQ does tomorrow morning. So we'll see. I'll be tracking all that stuff. Follow me on Twitter for the most up-to-date information. Okay, so you may ask yourself, all right, well, who's selling Bitcoin down at 21,000, right? So let me shed some light on this. Miners as well as whales are selling, okay? You take a look at this miners revenue for Bitcoin. This will track the total value in USD of Coinbase block rewards and transaction fees paid to miners. So I have here the 30-day moving average just to smooth things out a little bit, and you can see that miner revenue has been down dramatically from the start of the year, and from 47 million to 24 million. I mean, that's a haircut. That's huge. We're talking about like almost a 50% drop here in miners' revenue. So miners are not being paid as much as they were before. All right, that in conjunction with the network difficulty, which is basically how difficult it is to mine a new block for the blockchain. This is for Bitcoin, and you can see the miner difficulty has gone up. And so what this means is that as the miner difficulty increases, the more resources you have to spend to mine a new block. So revenues are down, the difficulty is up, and miners are getting squeezed, and they have to sell in order to remain solvent. Or they will go ahead and they will take off a lot of their ASICs, a lot of their mining rigs off of the network. And this is our total hash rate, the estimated number of hashes per second the Bitcoin network is performing in the last 24 hours. You can see here the total hash rate has been moving down from the start of from about May or so. And you can see that these Bitcoin miners are being taken off of the network because they're just not profitable anymore. It starts with a peak here of 221 million, and now it's going down to 213 million. So miners are under stress, miners are under duress. A lot of them are shutting down their mining rigs, and it's just not profitable for them anymore. So this causes a lot of selling pressure on Bitcoin as these miners come in and they see these levels and they dump them as soon as possible to get the maximum amount of money out of Bitcoin, okay? All right, so let's talk about some real quick crypto news. This is the best crypto news I could find so far. 50% of Latin American consumers have had experience transacting crypto. This is a report from MasterCard, which states that 51% of Latin American consumers have conducted at least one transaction with crypto assets, and 33% of them have used stablecoins for everyday purchases, according to the latest survey conducted by digital payment giant MasterCard. So what this is telling me is that it is normal in Latin America to pay for a lot of these transactions with stable coins or cryptocurrency, and that they have a lot of experience with this. And that's not surprising given the fact that El Salvador has switched to the Bitcoin standard at this point. But I expect this to increase as time goes on. Stable coins are a great substitute for a lot of these countries instead of the US dollar, and they have lower transaction fees, especially if they're used on other blockchains outside of Ethereum. Okay, so adoption is still continuing. All right, guys, that's all I got for you today. If you like this, please be sure to follow and subscribe and leave a comment. Let me know what you like. Tell me what you don't like. And then also, I would appreciate going on my Twitter account and just giving me a follow. It's the same @TheCoinRaptor. Thanks, guys. I appreciate your time. Have a good day.